someone who's quietly building a very different kind of company. Joel Wall is an entrepreneur based in Medellin, Colombia, who's obsessed with systems, leverage, and eliminating himself as the bottleneck in the business. Instead of building companies that rely more on people, more meetings, and more chaos, Joel is trying to build businesses that run almost entirely on automation. One of his companies is a remote residential cleaning business and is already doing around $600,000 a year while running mostly on systems. At the same time, he works as a fractional COO for 7 and 8 figure companies, helping founders install operational systems that allow businesses to scale without burning out the owner. But what really caught my attention is what he's doing right now. Joel has 12 AI agents running different parts of his business 24/7, from marketing and media buying to content creation and operational reporting. In the last 48 hours alone, he launched a personal brand and a site that he deployed on autonomous marketing where clients can upload content into Google Drive and then AI will turn it into ads and launch campaigns automatically. Guys, this isn't theory. This is actual business running in the background right now as we record this podcast. Today, we're going to talk about what it really takes to build companies like this, where AI fits into the future of entrepreneurship and business, and whether founders can actually build businesses that scale without becoming prisoners of their own companies. Joel, welcome to the Still Building podcast.
Thank you. And we're still building. It's all good.
We're still building, man. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into the weeds here because a lot of a lot of people talk about how we are, as business owners, are the bottlenecks of our business, and most entrepreneurs want to get out of it and say, you know what, I don't want to be the bottleneck of my business. But unfortunately, what happens is if you do step away from being quote unquote the bottleneck of your business and let the business run itself, the business falls apart after a few days or maybe 2 weeks at the most. How close are you specifically to the business actually being able to run without you?
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. In our residential cleaning business, I work 4 hours a month, right? And really all I do is if I have a massive, like, urgent thing that they've never dealt with before, like a big fire or something of that, like, caliber, that's the only time I'll step in. All I do is I just process payroll on Friday night, right? And not even payroll for our cleaners, payroll for our back end staff. So like our VAs and EAs. That's all I do in that business.
Wow. Okay. So how many days do you think you can disappear actually away from your business? Or actually a better question, if you did disappear for 30 days, what would break in the business?
Well, our back end team wouldn't get paid, right? Where it is right now. So I mean, like if I basically just take that SOP and assign it to one of our admins, then great. But that's all that I'm holding on to in that entire company. So like if we need new cleaners, they have a hiring SOP. If we need to run Facebook ads, they have Facebook ads SOP. If we have a client complain, they have a client complaining SOP. The sales is all handled SOP'd. Everything is SOP'd out, right? And so the major thing with entrepreneurs is that we're really good at doing things and we're not good at teaching others how to do it, right? So a lot of times that's why when you take your post off of a part of the business, that part of the business starts to fail, is because normally what I've encountered when I'm working with businesses is that a lot of business owners, there's two different ways to lead, right? So the way that I lead is collaboration and the other way is commander. And commander is a lot of, I would say 98% of entrepreneurs fall into this world where they're saying, hey, go do this, hey, fix this, hey, da da da, and they're basically commanding someone to go do something. And the reason why that attributes to you not getting away from your business is because you basically turn into the babysitter. So you're paying people and you're not giving them autonomy. And then you're saying, hey, go do this. And so whenever anything happens, they initially now come back to you. So if you don't turn that off, if you don't basically say, hey, look, I trust you, make a decision. If you fail, if you mess up, then they're never going to grow on your own. And all you're doing is hiring expensive babysitters.
Great point. And this all sounds great in theory, but can we dive into how you actually made this happen in your business? I mean, we would all love to have very structured SOPs. Unfortunately, I think most business owners are just the nature of it. They're just too busy being the salesperson, being the administrator, being the customer service rep that how do we build these SOPs, and B, how do you actually get to working in your business for 4 hours a week without it you being there? So what would be
Yeah, yeah.
the the basic steps that we can start with?
So one of the best things I would say, and especially with AI here, and a lot of people are going to fail with AI, but one of the easiest ways to do this is do what you do on a daily basis and record it. So go to loom.com, record what you're doing. So if a fire happens, right, you go, okay, let me fix this fire, but let me record myself fixing this fire. And then what you do is you record yourself, speak like someone's over your shoulder, go through the entire process. When you're done with it, hey, I'm done. So I've now made a video, which is part of my SOP. Then the second thing is take that transcript from Loom, throw it in the chat GPT and say, hey, based off this transcript, make me an SOP. And then take that, hand it to your EA or VA and say, run this, and then see where they fail. But the purpose of an SOP that I always teach is that you have to make it as simple as like your mother could come and do it. So if part of your business is failing, your mother should be able to step in, or someone with no idea, even it'd be better if they don't even understand technology, could step in, follow step by step by step by step what you say to do, and still get the same output. Right? That's how you create SOPs that allow you to step away.
Awesome. So record yourself doing it. I didn't hear the part. This is new for me, that to take the transcript, put into ChatGPT, and then have. Awesome. Okay. And then you have those SOPs built, and how do you ensure that the team actually follows them?
So
Because a lot
that
of the times they become just the documents.
that
Uh-huh.
becomes where your leadership style needs to change, and that's more of a personal side, right? Because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're so good at doing what we're doing that we just step in and do it ourselves because it's quicker, faster, and we don't want the failure to happen. But that's where you have to hold your boundary and you have to say, okay, is that in SOPs? Yes. Okay, then go do it. And then you have to also encourage your team, like, look, if you fuck up, if you fail, I'll still be okay with you. I'd rather you fuck up and fail than not do it. Right. So 80% done is better than zero. So, or 100% done by me. So I'd rather encourage them and collaborate with my teams and be the commander where everyone has to come to me for all the answers.
That's awesome. Take me back a little bit. Give us a little bit of your past experiences, and how did you, I mean, how did you build yourself to become that kind of CEO the way that you are right now? And where did you learn all this from? What is your background?
By failing a shit ton. That's really that's the ultimate answer to all of it. I used to brag to people that I've hired over 700 VAs until I realized that means I'm just retarded. And then what I did was I just had to figure out why did I have to hire 700 people? Because they say like, oh, if 6 people have a problem and you're the main cause, like you're the issue. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, 700 people tended to have a problem. I'm not the problem. And so I had to literally look in the mirror myself and go, look, if I want the freedom, if I don't want to just burn out whenever a company hits 30, 50K a month or 100K a month, I have to learn a different way of doing things. And so that's really the catalyst that made me change the way that I think and change the way that I onboard people and change the way that I hire. Is that I'm not necessarily looking for skilled people. I'm not looking for attitude. I'm not looking for people that are going to come to me when everything's wrong. I'm going to push them and say, you got to go figure it out yourself. And the moment they show me they're autonomous, I'll teach them whatever skill they need.
That's awesome. And I would say 90% of entrepreneurs struggle with this. I mean, you hit it
I
on the
would say
head.
95% of entrepreneurs or 99% struggle with this.
I was not going to go that high, but yeah, you're 100% right. Probably 100% of entrepreneurs. We got into this because we wanted to do things better, cheaper, faster ourselves, and then it's so hard to pass this over to the team and actually put the systems in place that we just continue struggling, continue running in this treadmill or this hamster wheel.
Yep.
So if you could talk about what was that mind shift? You said you had the mind shift, but was there something that happened to you that made you realize that this is not working? Did you have a big failure? Did you have a breakup in your partnership? A business almost going down the drain because of this? Give us a little bit of reality of what really made that shift possible.
Yeah. I mean, I've had all of those. I've had massive failures. I've had partnerships that haven't worked out, but those really didn't cause me to think differently. They just made me, eventually I was like, oh, it's their fault. It's not me, right? I'm amazing. Even though I wouldn't tell that on the outside, internally, I knew that I was just, better than whatever the issue was. what ultimately did it was back in like 2019, 2018, I would run challenges. And so I would have a group, and basically every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'd launch a new agency. So I'd say, hey, this week we're going into the realtor space. This week we're going into the chiro space. This week we're going into the loan officer space, dentist, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and I found out I would burn out. Our goal was to get it to $10,000 a month, monthly recurring, as fast as possible. But I found out I would burn out at 30 or 50K a month. So then I would hire people, and I'd hire Americans, Africans, Asians, South Americans, Filipinos, everyone, and nobody could do it as good as I could. So I kept burning out, kept burning out, kept burning out, and eventually, after I had this big success, which was my last agency, we scaled in 90 days in a brand new niche. We were selling used cars, like we were selling to used car dealers as an agency. I went from 0 to 124,000 in monthly recurring in 90 days, right? And I launched the ads. I sold the clients. I onboarded them. I launched their ads. I customer service. I did everything in that agency. And every time I would try to bring somebody in, they were never good enough, right? But we were just killing it. We were skyrocketing, and I was getting burnt out, and I was hating life, and I was drinking every night just to try and get the edge off. And after when that was about 2019 when COVID hit, right? And when COVID hit, two of our dealers disputed. They were actually the higher tier packages. They disputed their charges for the last 6 months, and it ended up being a $60,000 of disputes taken out of my bank account. And at that moment, it was like, well, if I had a gun, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, right? Because it was everything I'd worked hard with. I had done everything correctly. I couldn't predict COVID. I didn't know where it was going, but it absolutely shut down the used car dealership niches. A lot of my clients went out of business because everything in that time stopped. Nobody wanted to buy cars, especially used cars. They wanted to repair them and keep their cars, and so people were scared, and that entire agency just died during COVID. And so when that happened, I had to step back and not only battle like the mental part of it, but also look at it and say, okay, if I had to do this all over again, how could I do it where I could only work 4 hours a week? Right. And then it was initially actually started 4 hours a day, then it was 4 hours a week, then it was 4 hours a month. And at that time, we started basically what we did was we looked at local businesses, right? It's like HVAC, plumber, real. Because I was like, well, they're not going anywhere for COVID, but fuck the online space. So we started going after that. My wife fell in love with the cleaning space, so we built, residential cleaning business from zero, scaled that massively. But my entire thing was like, and this is actually what helped me was like, I'm never going to clean a house. Like, trust me, you don't want me showing up, mopping your floors and wiping your windows down. Like, I'm not going to do it. So how do I, now that that's a hard barrier put in place, how do I now build it to where my team can go out and do that with me never have touching anything that relates to cleaning a house, right? So we built an online portal. We got all the cleaning stuff done. We had all the SOPs done. Everything was done with the intent of me never being involved in it, right? And so that's ultimately what became um, me systematizing everything that I do, so that I could literally be, in Italy for 3 weeks with my phone off, which is actually what happened, and our business is still growing 5 to 6% month over month.
What would you say the biggest contributor to that? Because that's the every entrepreneur's dream, right? To have a company where you only work 4 hours. I mean, a week would be great, but you're working 4 hours a month in that company.
Right.
I mean, what does a day to day look like? Do you have managers? Do you have staff? Is it really about the people that you hire and the systems, or what does it actually look like?
So, what would you say is the best systematized company in the world?
Best systematized. I'm not sure. Tell me what it is.
So when I looked at them, I mean, you obviously have Amazon, you have Walmart, you all have that. But for me, what I looked at was McDonald's, right?
Mm.
McDonald's is ran by high schoolers at best, or, not the brightest crowns in the boxes. And how do they run a billion dollar business with those type of employees? So they're not trying to get Elon Musk engineers. They're not trying to get, people to really run factories, or they're not trying to get highly educated people. What they've done is they've literally put an entire workbook together of how to make a Big Mac. And so every Big Mac's the exact same. And they actually have pictures of like take 2 pickles and put it on and put the middle buttons. Like literally it's there so that like anyone could walk in, read it, and make a Big Mac. And so when I figured that out, or when I saw that, that's when I was like, that's why everything has to be so systematized that I don't want to hire A players. I want to hire B and C players and give them a system to where they're even successful. Because and every business owner knows, finding A players is hard as fuck. And then once you find them, if they leave your company, shit, you are fucked. Because they ultimately become your black swan event. They're doing so much, they're carrying so much. You're like, oh, my company's great. And the moment they leave, it's like a gap, like a big ass bomb just hit your company, and now you're leaking in so many different departments because of what they were carrying. So for me, having a systematized system that's so simple is what mitigates and also negates that issue of like what I call the superhero complex, where I've hired an A fucking player, I've paid them well, and the moment they leave, then my city or my company's dead.
This is gold. I love it. This is awesome. Because most people talk about hiring A players and putting the right people in the right seats, but you just hit it on the nail, saying that McDonald's only hires high schoolers to run $1 billion business.
Yeah, and I mean, you want the right people in the right seats for the right things, right? I mean, like if I'm hiring for a managerial position, I'd rather hire within, number one, because I only want to accept people that have the will to really work at the level that we work at. And again, for me, I don't hire off. I don't even care about your resume. If you give me a resume, I will never fucking read it. I'm gonna say, come here for 2 weeks, show me your work ethic. If you can pass those first 2 weeks, fucking welcome on board. I can teach you whatever fucking skill I need to teach you because I have everything SOP'd out. So I don't need you. I'd actually rather you come to any of our companies without prior experience because everything's SOP. So I don't need to. I don't need you to know how to do things. I'm gonna show you how to do them, and then you're just gonna do them that way.
That's awesome. I love that. Let's talk about AI agents, if you don't mind. I think this is the most exciting part of this interview. And you currently have
Sure.
12 AI agents running different parts of your company. Can you walk
Yes.
me through that system? If I'm seeing it for the first time, and explain it to a 15-year-old.
Yeah, so it's actually ironic. It's part of this hiring problem, right? So I've always wanted to clone myself, right? But I'm not Kanye West, so I don't have the money to do it. But what happened is when AI came out, and I've only hopped on it for at now about like 9 days. But I was like, okay, what do I need in my business the most? And I was like, I need a controller. So I need someone that's going to hold the people that are running our businesses accountable, and I need people that are going to hold the other people accountable. So when I onboard a new client, they actually get right into the controller, right? So the controller is going to sit there and they're going to onboard them, intake them, ask them questions, give them feedback, and everything. So they're the top of the pyramid, right? So if we need like a new logo designer, if we need a new website built, or if we need new copy written, or if we need something or ads launched, the controller is who the client will talk to, like their rep, and then they will then spin up the other agents and ask them like, hey, what's the status on the ads? Hey, we need a new copy for this. Hey, we need new ads for this. Or hey, what's going on with the competitors' ads? And then it will get that information in the threads inside Discord. So if you're spinning up OpenCall or Agentic AI, please do not use Telegram or WhatsApp. Either use Slack or Discord, because Telegram or WhatsApp is basically going to get lost in that entire thread. It's just going to become craziness, and don't do it. It's cool for like a personal assistant, but if you really want to run a business off of it, you need to be organized. And by organizing it, you need to put yourself into threads. And so I run all my businesses on Discord because the thread management for me is better than Slack. So each one of my agents has its own channel, and each one has its own threads. So for instance, my controller will go in and I'll say, hey, I need to run a new website for Anton, right? I'm literally building this out right now. Well, not right now, because I'm talking to you about before this. And basically, like, you could literally come to me and say, here's my logo. I want a website built. And what it does is it will take the logo. It will then say, it'll ask me a couple questions like, what's the purpose of your business? Da, 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 and have a couple intake questions. Then it will take it to our digital marketer agent. It'll say, hey, build me a brand kit for this. It'll come back with like hex codes, fonts, styles. It'll do some competitor research based off other websites if you give it to it. Then it will bring that back. Then it will take it to the tech guy and it'll say, build me a website off of this. Then it'll build a website, and then it will host that website on a public. It's called Versal. It will host it on Versal automatically. It spins it up. And then once the website's done, the branding gets done, it will go to the AI agent, or sorry, the media buyer agent. And the media buyer agent will create 10 assets for you based off of the branding kit, your logo, and what your business is supposed to do. And then bring that forward and say, hey, we can run ads with this. You can do social media posts. All this stuff can happen. And the last test I just ran, that all happened within 15 minutes. You're muted, by the way.
All done by AI, no human involvement.
Well, the only human involved is the initial part, right? The catalyst. So it's, hey, give me your logo, and then everything else will, and just spits out.
Wow. That is insane. And then does it actually connect then to things like Facebook Manager and Google Ads Manager, or that's something you're still working on? You're still building?
No, no, no. That's already done. I mean, we literally can spin up ads 24/7. The media buyer literally watches every hour, it checks your ads, right? And it has a cadence where it's like, if our CPL or CPM is at X mark, like cut it off, give a report, spin up a new graphic, put it out. We also have other things where you can literally put in the Facebook ads URL for your competitors, and it will monitor that every day. So it'll be like, hey, they launched a new ad. Here's what it is. Would you like me to launch it for us? And if you say yes, it will literally take your logo, your copy, your brand kit, spin up an entire thing based off of what you're trying to do, and then it'll give you the approval and say, is this good? Yes, no. And then you basically say yes, and it launches it.
Wow. That is really cool. Let me ask you this, because a lot of people are really, really excited right now about AI.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, everybody's talking about it. But in my opinion, and I know this is going to be, you might disagree with this, but most of it, a lot of it is hype, like real hype. And
is.
we still don't know what's truly hype or not. But what are people, do you think, or especially entrepreneurs, completely misunderstand about AI in business today?
I'm going to be making a video about this probably next week, if not this week, but it's called 99% of people will fail with AI.
Tell me more. Give me a preview, please.
Well, it goes back to literally what I was talking about. Like, if you can't train a fucking VA to operate in your business, how do you think you're going to train an AI to operate in your business? Like, I mean, AI is at some point it's more intelligent, but it's actually in other areas more retarded than any person you'll ever hire in your business. And so for me, it's like, if you can't properly train somebody, like an actual human being who would know, like, don't delete 200 emails from Facebook email account, how are you going to fucking train an AI to do it? So if you don't actually know how to train somebody, you will ultimately fail with AI, because it's only going to be as good as you make it. So one of the cheat codes that I have is, because I've SOP'd out everything in our business, I literally just feed it all the SOPs. And I feed it all everything, and it just goes boom, and it spins it up. So if you're not SOPing out your business, you're already way behind. So don't even touch AI if you can't even SOP out processes in your business.
This is gold. Wow. So first focus on the basics of setting up the SOPs, which is the Loom that you talked about earlier, and then use those SOPs to then take this and create more AI agents.
Absolutely. So literally, like with my media buyer agent, when we spun it up, I gave it the SOPs that I had one of my VAs doing for media buying. So I fed it that, and I said, do this. And it goes, great. I need this. And I said, all right. I went and accomplished all of that, which was like making it back end app, getting OAuth, getting some API keys from Facebook and Google. And then as soon as I did it, I said, take it. And it goes, and just starts doing everything that I asked it to do.
So if someone listening to this right now and blindly just takes everything that you just talked about, creates the Loom, creates the SOPs, puts them into the AI, and starts creating agents out of it, just like you recommended using Discord instead of Slack. And are you using an Anthropic Cloud Code for this, or what specifically are you using to build these agents?
So great question. I was using Anthropic. I was using the API. Then I want to do the OAuth, and then people are getting banned for all that. And so I said, okay, stop. So literally the last 24 hours, I posted a thing on my Instagram where I said, I'm fixing the foundation. I was running at about $200 a day on token usage. Right. So it's like, hey, let's save money and spend $6,000 on fucking retarded AI versus hiring, if you're paying $1,000 a month, 6 fucking VAs. Right. So it's like, it didn't make any sense. So I was like, okay, this is not sustainable. This is not the purpose of AI. So I literally went through and built out, there's another thing called Open Router. And so I went through and just accomplished that before we hopped on this podcast was where it actually has a logic tree. So it's like basic information, use this model. This information, use this model. This and this. And basically, my goal is to cut my cost down to about $10 a day. So it's going to use different models based off of different kind of necessity. So obviously, we'll use Opus, which is the highest one if we have to go to that realm. But for the very basic cadence, you could use like Haiku or MinMax or Gemini or something like that. So that's to answer the model question. But if someone were to take literally what I've said and just go through their business, fix the problems they're already fixing, recording it, like literally the person that they're teaching is right behind them. So you're speaking it like, hey, I go here, I click this link, I input this in, like record it and speak to the Loom so that if someone could watch it, they could literally understand it, take that transcript, put into AI, let AI digest it, or you can even put into your agent. Honestly, even that could kind of skip a level. But if we're making SOPs, we make SOP, then we take the SOP and the transcript, give it to the AI agent. They're going to be ahead of about 95% of everyone who uses AI.
And going back, you said you use Open Router. That's something I've never heard before.
Right. So there's a lot of new things that are coming out because of all the issues that are happening. But yeah, it's called OpenRouter.ai.
Interesting. Great. And that's better than using Anthropic and being charged $200 a day for tokens.
Well, so what this does, right? It's not a simple setup, right? So what it does is it takes like OpenAPI, Gemini, or Google, Anthropic, and then you route it to different languages based off of different use cases, right? So like if it's a basic task, it uses a small model. If it's a medium task, it uses a medium model. If it's Heartbeat, it uses the cheapest model possible. If it's a complex model, then it goes up. So it's literally like an if-else logic tree or flow chart that goes down that says like, if this, use that model. If this, use that model. If that, use that model. And it basically gives you the ability to route different models based off of the tasks to your agents.
Interesting. Okay, so if somebody who is just starting out, so you have an entrepreneur, you told them, go build your SOPs building Loom. So they just need Loom as the tool to go build those SOPs. After that, they're going to go ahead and put them into ChatGPT and create actual SOPs that then you can use for your team or to start building this AI bot. But once you actually decide to build this AI bot, let's go ahead and say you want to build a
controller, a manager, day-to-day ops.
Manager, sure. Exactly. Mm-hmm. What's the next step? Where do you go from there after you got the SOPs built?
It's like the manager's already up and running, or what do you mean?
No, you have yes. So you have a human manager who you have SOPs for, but you want to go ahead and see if you can build an AI manager who's actually going to be doing better than your human manager. What will be the next step for you to go build out that AI manager versus the human manager that you currently have?
Yeah, perfect. So I'll be putting out a video for that, but there's plenty of videos online as well where you can just open up OpenClaw. So like I always go to Hostinger. They're probably the simplest one right now. They're a VPS solution. Do not buy a Mac Mini for the love of God. Do not fucking buy Mac Minis.
I just bought one.
I know you're dumb. I told you not to buy it, but it's just you go to the VPS, you get the VPS. It's like $200 for 2 years. It doesn't have to rely on your network. So for instance,
VPS, like I'm sorry. Yeah, VPS for our listeners.
Virtual private server.
Okay, VPS, got it. Virtual private
server.
So
yeah, if you buy a Mac Mini and you plug it into your home network, then if your home internet goes out, guess what? So does everything else on that Mac Mini.
Makes sense.
Your whole business, if you're automating everything, is gone. So if you're not hosting it, like it's like cool, oh, I host it local, but yeah, you're still, there's a reason why the virtual and the data centers exist. And this is why my tech background comes in with that. So I just went and spun it up on Hostinger. On Hostinger, you actually have a way where you can go in and click like set up OpenClaw. It will set it up for you. And then you log in. And then what you would do is just go through, get your Discord API tokens, create your applications, put your application tokens in play, assign them on the back end, all that kind of stuff. So it starts to get way more technical. But as far as like starting OpenClaw, you could probably have it done in like less than 30 minutes. It wouldn't be tough at all.
Got it. So VPS, Hostinger to set up your OpenClaw, and then using Discord API token to go ahead and set it up in Discord.
Right, exactly. And I'll come out with like some tutorials on this and everything down the road. But yeah, it's just for me, it was more getting everything set up and stabilized. And then once it's stabilized, then I'd look at token usage. And so now token usage was the thing. And I guess to circumnavigate all of this is like in business as an entrepreneur, the best piece of advice I can give you is theory of constraints. Right. So fuck everything else that's happening in your business. What is the major part that is constraining your business? So when we initially started talking, it's like most entrepreneurs become the bottlenecks of their businesses, but that's because they're not looking at the theory of constraint. So for instance, my theory of constraint in the beginning was getting open call set up. Great. Now I got to set up. Now I need my operator. Great. Now I got to set up. Now I need to be up 24/7. Great. Got that done. Well, now my token utilization at $200. Well, nothing else matters because I'm spending over $6,000 a month on this cool thing that really, can or cannot impact my business. I don't know yet, at that time. And then it's like, well, that's not worth it. So now my constraint is I'm not going to spend $6,000 on, a toy at that time. And then now I fixed that, built the foundation, and now the power is insane. And the leverage that it can bring to your business is insane. So if you're not getting enough lead flow, don't worry about your sales calls. If you don't worry about your fulfillment, if you're not getting enough lead flow, like everything else stops because you have to fix your lead flow, then sales, then fulfillment. Like that's just how it should work as a business. And so a lot of people get it backwards. Like they'd rather build cool shit and they don't have a business because their leads aren't coming in, sales aren't happening.
Man, I appreciate this. I mean, you said you're going to put out some videos, so there's definitely a lot on this that I think is going to fly over some people's heads. But at the end of the day, you said you're going to create videos on this and you're going to be posting them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm building a community,
Okay.
right? And then eventually, because I do love teaching, right? Eventually, I'm going to build like a course that's like, if you want to implement this, you can, and all that. And it's going to be super low ticket because I want every business to have this. So that's probably like $500, right? And then you can just literally run over the shoulder, me teaching you how to do all of that.
That's awesome. And where will we be able to find this?
TheJoelWall.com.
TheJoelWall.com.
Yeah, that was actually the personal brand that my agent spun up in 48 hours. Well, in the last 48 hours, it took them 15 minutes, but
now will be replaced by AI in the next 10 years.
say that again. You gotta cut out.
Yeah, sorry. So if you could estimate, based on everything that is happening with AI and entrepreneurship, how many entrepreneurs listening to this will be replaced by AI in the next 10 years? Do you think entrepreneurship is going to be anywhere where it is right now, and how much of it will be replaced by all AI?
Actually, I don't. I think that entrepreneurship is going to flourish through AI because of like, I mean, for instance, I don't know how to code, right? I mean, I know how to code basic stuff, but I like to launch a website in 15 minutes versus 3 hours, right? Or even like a drag and drop builder. I think that the lazier the person is, the better they're going to be at entrepreneurship now. So all AI is going to do is enable lazy people to be infinitely better. So what that means is now that if you have drive, grit, and determination, you're going to be infinitely better than lazy people. So I think entrepreneurship is even more achievable than it was, a decade ago when you and I started this shit. We actually had to struggle and had to grind to make it through. Right now, it's like you can just literally tell AI to go do something and it does it. It might suck, it might fuck up, but it's going to be so much better than you not doing anything. So I don't think the entrepreneurs are going to suffer at all. I think the 9 to 5 people will suffer, but I think the people that are the risk takers and the people at the front of the line, they're not going to suffer at all. I think they're going to be the ones that benefit from this. But yeah, I mean, if you're like a database programmer, start learning a fucking new skill because AI will take it over. I mean, I'm building websites in 15 minutes that we used to have to pay people thousands of dollars to build.
Exactly. Joel, I appreciate this, man. I'm sure we're going to have hopefully another session, because there's so much on this one that I think that I still have to myself even just go through and understand, because I got a lot of made.
Welcome back.
My editor is gonna have fun with this one.
Oh, now I can hear you again. Go ahead.
My editor is gonna have fun with this one.
Yeah, it's fun. But go. I mean, just start from the top.
All right, rapid fire questions. I ask these questions to every single guest that comes on the show. So if you don't mind just answering them as quickly as you can without putting too much thought behind it. First question is best financial decision you've ever made.
Oh man, investing in myself.
Worst business advice you ever followed.
50-50 partnerships.
Oof. We can talk about a whole episode on that one.
Yeah.
One thing that you think entrepreneurs today should stop doing immediately.
Shiny object syndrome.
Shiny object syndrome. I love that. Last question. As a builder, Joel, what are you still building? What does the next 5 years of Joel look like? What are you still building?
I mean, the real answer is myself, right? I mean, everything is a product of me. So, you know, my health, my mental, everything that. So it's like I never stop building myself. And because I don't stop building myself, I'm gonna level up and then everything else around me is gonna level up.
You're still with me?
Yeah.
I lost you there for a second.
You may answer that again for you.
Sure. What are you still building?
So I'm still building myself, right? So we're never gonna stop, and you know, until the day I die, I'm never gonna stop trying to be the best version of myself because everything flows from me, my mindset, my abilities, right? So the world is unlimited based off of how I interpret it. So I'm always investing in myself, always looking for the best for me, and then through that, I will build out everything new.
Nah.
You can't hear me? Dude, I'm literally still sitting here talking to you.
Dude, this is nuts.
I'm literally staring at, look, I will share my video screen.
Show me.
Hold on, look. I'm staring at you, staring at me.
But I'm frozen. What happened? Joel's
I don't know.
muted. Now you're muted.
Yeah, I'm mute because it's feedback. You'll hear that, right? But look.
All right.